All right. Welcome back to the episode of Bring the Juice. I'm here today with 5'9" legend, Quincy Pondexter, baby. Fire me up. Haven't had a basketball player in a minute.
First we gonna rock, then we gonna fold, then we let it pop, don't let it go.
Q, how is life?
Oh, life is great. Life is great.
Yes.
Beautiful outside in the 559. Life is great.
Beautiful outside. Before we get into this episode, quick shout out to our sponsors at the American Pistachio Growers. If you want to perform like the pros, eat your pistachios, eat those nuts, kids. Great source of protein. Q, you played a lot of basketball in your life.
Yeah.
Do you think eating pistachios would ever help, in you maybe scoring more points in a game or better defense or anything like that?
You know what? I'm kind of like the last bit of the old school where sports performance and nutrition and all those things didn't really matter as much as now.
Rub some dirt in it.
You know, it was we were drinking like all sports, and like you look at it now, it's like those things were awful for you. like the sports drinks and all those things. Like, you know, I don't think nutrition was a big factor until I started getting the NBA later in my career. I started realizing how important it was.
Absolutely. Let's just dive into your NBA career. Like, obviously, it is professional basketball. It's the highest level that you could possibly reach. Talk to me just about, playing in the NBA. Who's a guy who really made you go from one level to the next, elevated you up, took you under their wing, and then who's a guy that made you a better man in the NBA?
Man, that's some good questions. I think from afar, like, it wasn't like he took me under his wing personally, but Kobe Bryant was a person that I looked up to, and everything that he did as far as his work ethic and determination. And, you follow a little bit of his blueprint, even from afar. I didn't get the full recipe because I wasn't with him. Right. But from what I knew and what I heard, I was able to mimic a lot of things, and that ended me up in the NBA. And so his work ethic, that Mamba mentality, and back then you didn't have social media, so it would be a myth or legend of what he would be doing in the summertime. So it's like he ran 117s, or he was, going around the track 50 times, and, he got up 2,000 shots a day. Those urban legends, some of it was true, but, and to try to mimic that, he was waking up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to go work out every day in the summer. I wake up at 4, work out at 5 at the latest. And so that was just things that I took from him from a distance, and was help able to make me the player I am. And then once I got to the league, I think, just having a good family structure. My dad, who's a professional basketball player, my uncle is a professional basketball player. Even my godfather, was a professional basketball player, won a championship with the Celtics, and just having that family structure to, stay on me no matter what. And so they knew what I had the capabilities of doing. And then I started getting guidance, from Lorenzo Romar at, University of Washington, to Monty Williams, who was my coach my rookie year and later on in my career. And those guys really helped pave the way for me.
You mentioned rookie, and talking to a lot of these athletes, you develop, you become a seasoned vet as you go. What's something in the NBA, in your experience, that you wish you would have known your rookie season, that took some time to learn?
Health.
Yeah.
Your health is everything. Your body is everything. I revved that engine as much as I possibly could without letting go, and not knowing, all right, you gotta cool off. You gotta take a couple days off. Maybe you got to listen to your body and say, all right, I need treatment. I need to go do these things. Maybe, with this injury, let's not rush back 2 weeks early. Let's take 2 weeks later.
Let's get right.
Let's get right. And so, that's the thing that these kids have learned nowadays, and that's something that's more relatively new. When I came to the league, missing games was still like, it was outlawed. Guys didn't miss games, and they didn't miss practices. We practice hard. Now the NBA workload is a lot lighter. There's a lot less practices. Guys miss games. Guys make sure they're 100% healthy before they come back from certain injuries. And, again, I did it my way, and I think that was the way I was going to make it, by just working so freaking hard. But looking back at it, if I wanted more longevity, I would have took care of myself for my family and my career, not because of the name on the front of the jersey. I would have took care of myself more so than taking care of the team.
So when you see, I know I'm not that invested into the Twitter side of it necessarily, but like you hear guys chirping about, hey, yo, why is this guy taking so many nights off in the NBA right now?
Yeah.
And I think there's I see both sides of the spectrum a little bit where, okay, I get it. One, you're a pro athlete. Like, ultimately, you are an entertainer. So that's one side of it. But also, you're a pro athlete. You're trying to win championships. You got to make a good business decision. You got to look at what's best for you at the same time. Do you think that the players in the NBA have abused the quote unquote concept of I'm taking care of my body, I'm trying to get right, to the point where there's too many rest days almost?
I don't think they've abused it. I think they still love the game and they're still working behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, when you start breaking things down, then the players became more educated.
Right.
They became LeBron has been, the pinnacle of like taking care of your body. So I could beat these scoring records. I could make this money. I could play another 5 to 10 years where I could make so much more wealth than a guy that just comes in. I'm doing everything for this team, for this organization, who could trade you at any minute.
Right. Absolutely.
They could get rid of you at any minute. They could say so long, and then when you're done, they'll never talk to you again. Or do you care about, winning for your family, for yourself, and for your generation of wealth and your names to come behind you?
Yeah.
So it is tough. Of course, I want to win. I think that's something that's always driven me, and because it's been, programmed in our head. You gotta win. You gotta win a championship. But you hear a guy like Gilbert Arenas on his podcast the other day. He was like, man, he made $170 million.
Yeah.
Didn't get close to winning a championship.
Secure the bag.
Would you rather make only 50 and win a championship? That's a hard question. For some people, for me, it's not.
So all right, so Q, you're a seasoned vet here. Would you take 100 M's, no championship, or what number would it have to be to get that championship?
I don't know. I don't want to get into numbers and stuff, but at the end of the day, that's what these guys are facing.
I feel like there is a threshold though, and I even like a LeBron James, he's just been playing so long now. I feel like he went through that at some point of, okay, I've played enough years in the NBA, made enough money. I want to go win a couple championships real quick. Or do guys hit that in their career where they're willing
LeBron's to? LeBron's at a point in his career right now, and I don't want to speak for. I don't know him at all like that, but I think he's done it all.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like what more can he say or do? Like he's playing at a relieved rate right now. He doesn't have to win another championship.
No.
And no one's pitting championships. Say, oh, you got to win one to be closer to Mike or Kobe. I'm the all-time leading scorer. I'm considered the best player ever at 4 rings and been in the finals 10 times. And even through his downfalls, you still think I'm the best ever. So what more? What's the next level of success for him? And I think that's his longevity of playing. If he could play another 5 to 7 years, it sounds crazy. He can play another 5 years in the NBA.
I think he wants to play with his kids.
His kid could be in the NBA this next year.
That's what I'm saying.
So his son could be on his second contract.
Well, I think he genuinely, though, because you say that, and I agree with you, to where it's like he has nothing to prove. Yeah. He's done everything. And you know what? I feel like LeBron gets a bad rap because he's one of those guys who he's kind of like how some people hate Tom Brady. Yeah. Where you're like, why? Like, at the end of the day, why? The dude just is great. And LeBron James, though, he doesn't get in trouble. The dude is a great example. I think he's personally might be the best physical specimen of an athlete we've seen, at least in my generation.
Best ever. Best physical athlete ever.
And I say that as from the football side of things, where I'm like, this dude could probably play anything realistically.
In the NFL.
Tennis,
rugby.
MLB. Like, I think there's certain parts of sports, don't get me wrong, that take a specific skill. Hitting a baseball takes a specific skill. I'm not saying he can't do that, but like as far as running, jumping, just athleticism, something with the ball that you could be successful at. Yeah. LeBron James he's one of, I can't name one who's even like Bo Jackson is in the equation probably.
I think what people don't talk about, Bron is freakishly smart, and I think he has a good team of people around him that educate him, and him being very intelligent himself. So go back to his, what he's doing in his career. LeBron's, helped start an agency with his friends in Clutch, and You see how they're doing. So they're not thinking as just a random player. They're thinking business-wise. So what would he tell a player that is in his situation that might get hurt? You should sit out. He ain't going to tell him to go rush to play. He's going to tell him, sit out, get healthy.
Yeah.
So I think everything Bron does is so calculated and so smart, and I think he's really helping this next generation of athlete,
right?
As far as taking care of themselves and their generational wealth.
We talked about cuts real quick before the pod started. How, as we're recording this, it's the day when NFL teams, they cut everybody. There's people who you expect to make it. They don't. You're getting fired from your job, and there's an element of unknown. And when I think of unknown, one thing about football that helps you make a roster is like playing special teams.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, there's the top tier guys in the NFL, right? Where you know everything about them. The Derrick Henrys, the freaking Tom Bradys, you name it. And then there's a second tier where you kind of know them, but then there's a lot of guys that you don't even know on the team, but guess what? They're a professional football player. And special teams is their ticket to making the 53-man roster, making the bus, whatever you want to call it. What is the equivalence of being on special teams in the NFL? What's that equivalence for the NBA? How do you make a roster?
It's every other position and roster spot besides the top 2-3 guys.
Right.
The top 2-3 guys on an NBA team, they'll be able to shoot the shots they want. They'll be able to play they want. They'll play 30 minutes plus. Anybody else is expendable for the most part, especially on the teams that are not trying to win a championship or not making the play. You're expendable. So telling these kids, and it's so hard for them because you have to do a role reversal. So I always compare it to, we're going up for a casting, and there's a Martin Scorsese movie or something, and there's a lead role. There's Denzel. There's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Sure. And
then there's about 400 other motherfuckers that got to be in the movie too.
Right.
I'm not gonna go try to compete against them in their job.
No.
So how do I go master one of the other ones? And I think that's something that I found out early, in my career, coming from, being a high school star to being a college star and doing everything I did at Washington and, being All-American, all those things. Then you get tossed in the NBA, you get tossed in this other pot, and you're like, I had Chris Paul, I had Trevor Ariza, I had David West, I had all these other guys that were so good. How do I end up on the floor?
Right.
And I got lucky. And so my rookie year, we had Peja Stojakovic, and he, we had brought in Trevor Ariza. He didn't want to come off the bench. Peja didn't want to come off the bench. He had, been such a great player for so long. And, he saw the writings on the wall. And so he wanted out. And we're going through training camp, and he didn't want to practice. The older guys didn't want to practice. So I'm in there playing hard as I can every possession, just finding my way. I want to play so bad. And he comes up to me, we're eating breakfast. I'll never forget it. He was like, man, you work so hard. You're doing so great. And he knew I wasn't going to play much. I think I missed my first couple games. I was like in a suit, after being a first-round pick. And he was like, you're going to get your opportunity to play. I'm about to tell them my back hurt until they trade me. And so just bring me it was like a Diet Coke and coffee and paper and make sure I have it every day. Okay. That's it. Perfect. That's how I started playing the NBA. I the rest of the season, I never put on a suit again. The rest of my career, I don't think I really put on a suit again unless I was hurt.
Wow.
And so, thanks Peja Stojakovic for that.
Hey, quick shout out to Pages for that one.
For that moment. And, I owe him so much because maybe that whole season I'd have just been in a suit or not get an opportunity. And, he got traded a little bit later. And I cracked the rotation. I played almost 70 games my rookie year. And, that's very fortunate to be on the playoff team. And so, and then I had a coach like Monty Williams, and he told me early, he was like, he played in the NBA, kind of similar to him, and he made me kind of mold myself into a role instead of trying to go be the star. And, that got me 9 years in the NBA.
Owning your role. And that's a hard thing, like you said. And I like that you brought up, your first day at college, everyone thinks I'm the dude. And you forget, yes, you were the dude in high school, but guess what? Most of the time, every other dude on their team was their dude at their high school. They were their, league MVP, all league, whatever you want to call it. And you kind of become this, it's a bigger fish tank, I guess I should put it. And some people excel from that high school to college stage. And then some people, they get the opportunity to go from that college to that pro stage. Mentally, how is it going from, I'm in that high school fish tank. You capitalized on college. You had these great accolades. You did the college thing, but now you're in, and you were a first round draft pick at NBA. So there's, it's not like you had to, go to Europe, come back, do all this, get your shot. Like you got it first round, but to be able to find that place of going from all American, all league, all the fun stuff to, I got to figure out how to own my role.
Start all over.
Yeah. How was that mentally? Just like accept that, take that in, that own my role mentality.
I was always like not like the late bloomer, the kid that wasn't talked about. I was always the background singer kind of thing, even though I would star and do well. I think going back to junior high, everyone in the city knew who the Lopez twins were. They knew who a kid named Trayvon Willis was. And I was a skinny 8th grader. I was good, but I wasn't that good. I went to high school. I had no idea I was going to play varsity. Ended up starting varsity my freshman year, but it was always a grind. I went from playing okay, people thinking you're okay, until my senior year, we're selling out during school.
Where'd you go to high school real quick, Quincy?
San Joaquin
Memorial, baby.
Best school in the back.
Come on now.
You're selling out during high school. But me and the twins didn't go into high school thinking or knowing that we were going to be good. We just went in there with knowing that we had to work. And so I think, I take that journey a lot more than the players that are just already handed something, because they won't know how to do it in adversity. They won't know how to deal with, all right, now I got to go grind and be better than this guy. Some guys are just better already in their neighborhoods or whatever it is, and they don't know what it takes. And so, I get to college, same situation happened. I did okay, I was good, but, there was older guys, and, our team was going through adversity, and, you have to grind. I had tough coaches that were extremely hard on me, and, again, you had to find a way. And that's something I've been able to do my whole life, man. I know how to do it. Again, I know how to fish. That's what you call it. Know how to fish. There's some people that don't know how to fish. They don't know how to go out there and grind. They don't know how to go out there and get it every day. And so, got to the NBA, same thing. And so I just reverted back to everything I did in junior high, high school, college. That means wake up at 4.
Yeah.
Don't go out the night before. Work out 4 times a day.
Sacrifice.
Make yourself work out so much. They were kicking me out the gym. The team was fining me for going to the gym extra. Yeah. Damn. And so, literally, yo, you're fined. It's like, what? For what? Working out more?
NBA? Really?
NBA was getting fined for working out more. They would shut off the lights. They would lock the door. They would have a thing, like you had a thumbprint. They would monitor every single time I'm in there. And they're like, I would get in trouble for working out too much. And so that goes back to just, knowing how to do it means so much to me. And I think that's why I'm able to help out so many kids now, because I know what it takes. I wasn't handed too many things in life. And being fortunate enough to know how to grind and get to what you want is amazing.
I got a lot of segments I want to go off that. Before, I want to introduce our friends at FFB Bank, the premier bank of both the Valley and of the world. Maybe not the world, but at least the United States. FFB Bank. Hey, hook up with our boy Q. Seriously though, FFB Bank. You walk in there, they give you a Go Dogs. Hey, listen to our last episode to Bring the Juice. They give you a sound business approach. If you're a business looking to start opening an account out there, they also do personal accounts there. They're the people who you want to take care of your money here in the Valley. They offer a lot of different options on banking, and we appreciate their support. FFB Bank. Quincy, I want to ask though, you mentioned the twins. What's your relationship with them, being able to go through high school, compete in college, and then the NBA? Are you guys close still? You guys talk every once in a while?
Those are my brothers.
Yeah.
I love Brooke and Robin to death. it's so crazy, you know, when you're going through everything and your kids, and you have this dream of doing all the things that we've done, and you know, you're going through it. You don't know. You're a kid.
Right, right. You're just living.
There's no crystal ball that's saying like you're about to do
nah.
this. But everything that we went through together and everything that we did and how we worked, it helped us become the players that we were. And I credit them so much for my success. I wouldn't be who I am today or the career I had if it wasn't for Brooke and Robin. And
Iron sharpens iron, baby.
you know, I can't believe it. You know, to see Brooke win an NBA championship, I was crying like I won one.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You know, to see Robin and still playing his career, and now they're playing together.
They're back.
And,
Sheesh.
you know, again, I love those dudes more than anything. They're my brothers. You know, we ain't gotta be best friends, but you know, we're something deeper than that.
Right.
Those guys are my brothers for sure.
You mentioned earlier too, you know, how you could help the next generation, those kids, and I want to get into Coach Q. But before I do, you know, how did you know when it was time to hang him up? Because you had a good career and you did the things with the grinding and it's not like you had like a little 2-year, 3-year, like you was in that thing.
Yeah. COVID,
was there a day?
COVID happened, and let's go back. In 2015, I started coaching. I got hurt. 2015, I got hurt. We had a playoff, and I just became a sure starter in the NBA, and I played well. I was top 5 3-point shooter in the NBA. Some of my best basketball, but I had a pretty bad knee complications to say, and so we had surgeries and things like that. And at that time, since I couldn't work out 10 hours a day, I was like, let me start coaching. Let me get my mind better, so when I get back on the court, I'm better. And so I started AAU team, and started with some guys. Jalen Green, started with him. Started with a kid named Julian Strahler, who was the first round pick this year. And I had a 15U team, 16U, and 17U team, and then local guys like Cash Williams, Ethan Rich, a lot of local guys. And I started with that group, and I was coaching from 8 a.m. till 8 to 10 at night.
Wow.
Driving the bus, washing jerseys, paying for food, spending $100,000 each summer out of my own pockets for these kids. And before I knew it, I became good at coaching. So I was able to draw things up on board. It was basically a paid internship that I did for myself, and I didn't know it at the time.
Right.
And I never knew I was going to get into coaching. I knew I liked it, but I fell in love with it during that course of some years. And to see players, go up in ranking and, do all the things that they did and have every college in the country recruiting them. And then we became on the EYBL circuit. So I had years of coaching under my belt at the time. And so, after 4 or 5 years, you get to 2020, I'm still battling in my career, going through injuries, going through all these things. And COVID happens, and I thought some teams were going to sign me. And, it's a tough space to be in where you want to play so bad,
right?
And your phone doesn't ring. You're not getting the same calls. You're not getting the same treatment. You might get an inquiry from overseas. You might, but at the time of COVID, you can't really. There was no inquiry. There was no workouts. You couldn't show anything. So I'm just, you here in Fresno, and I was working out, but you just get in a dark space. Like you get in a space where, I'm working out, I'm grinding, and it's so hard. Like you're going through it, and you don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. And I'd been on vacation. I was having fun in Miami, and someone had told me, to go through the interview process at University of Washington because they had an assistant coach position open up. And I went through the interview process, and my boy Cuddy busted in my room. Was like, "I think you're gonna get this job." And I was like, "Really?" I'm still working out every day. Like I'm about to play. Like I think COVID's shutting down, all these things. I think I'm gonna have opportunities to play. I'm working out like a madman. I had just finished working out. He was like, "You're about to probably get this job." I was like, "All right, let's see." And my soft spot is University of Washington too.
Yeah.
Fresno State, soft spots, but University of Washington is another soft spot for me. And so You know, when that job opened up and Coach Hopkins offered it to me, I had to make a decision right then and there. It was like, do you turn down this good job that, you know, you can make your second act better than your first?
Right.
You know, and a dream job that most guys have to wait years to get.
I was going to say.
Or do you keep trying to chase this ghost of playing and maybe cut your career a little premature? And so, you know what? It was the toughest decision I made. I still struggle with it every day. I'm not going to lie and say I don't. Like, I can still play, and you know, but it turned out to be good, man. I'm really excited to be in the position I'm in, and you know, I got to make this second act a lot better than my first.
Damn, Q. Damn. I mean, I see all sides of this. I see all sides here, because I know when you mentioned that dark place, and like, I think one of the hardest positions a professional athlete could go through is being in the game. Some sort of adversity strikes where you don't have a direct home necessarily, and you're still trying to grind pretty much independently at this point, betting on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's one thing. And like my brother went through in college football, like the COVID year, where they didn't go through practices and all that. Like they knew each other for 2 weeks and they went and played a college football season, which, as you know, in any sport, you can't just do that. Like, no. It's not some pickup BS. Like, you need some chemistry once you hit a certain tier of, even though college is college, professionalism, you know? And I think that'll be in the history books forever as like a unique situation of the world, not just athletics. But, you know, I really tip my hat to you in the sense of you to say, like, okay, listen, you shot your shot through your hat in the ring of, you had coaching experience, and you were like, it sounds like you were just like, I'm going to apply for this job damn near, right? Like,
yeah, it was like, someone said, you know what, you're not doing anything right now, so reach out to some people at UW, see if you could get an interview, and apply for the job. That's exactly how it happened. It happened
I remember this. I feel like
it happened at the end of like an hour and a half conversation, and that was the last 2 minutes of the conversation. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I just called, and it took like a month, and it happened. But, you know, at the same time, like, I think my gift, and I've known that, especially from even going back to high school, going to college, and then, you know, being in the NBA, my gift is helping people.
Right.
You know, like, you know, God put me in the Lopez twins' life for a reason. You know, maybe if I wasn't an asshole or pushing them like I did, would they have made it?
Who knows?
I don't know. Or you know, I begged my dad to call them to get them to go to Memorial.
Right.
And, you know, I was fantasized about playing with them dudes. Like, who knows what the story would have been, you know, if we went different ways. Or, you know, when I got to college, me and Isaiah Thomas would push each other so much every single day. And, you know, who knows? Like, does he pick up little things on his work ethic if I'm not around? Or, you know, when I got in the NBA, you know, there was a lot of guys I just helped. And then, again, once that happened, and, you know, I had, you know, Joel Embiid's one of my closest friends, you know, him going through his injuries and being there to be a sounding board and being there to help him. You know, sometimes you got to be selfless in your life, in your career, and somehow God just put that on my heart to do that. And so when I start coaching, start giving back hundreds of thousands of dollars to coach kids, to waste my entire summer to be with them, and then to see them, their trajectory go up, and to see them lift up, and to see them do things that maybe I probably could never done in my career. Yeah. How much does that matter? And so it's a tough thing, you know, because it's not you. You know, it's not tough. I love every second of seeing somebody I've helped succeed. Mm-hmm. That's it.
It's hard though and as an athlete, when you're all you know, whenever you start with a sport you're gonna pick and go with, all you know is I need to get better. You're looking up to the greats and you're trying to see what they do and how can I get there. You're looking into drills. You know what your competition's doing, and all you're trying to do is get that little bit of a freaking edge to kick their ass someday and overcome it. As well as, you know, the older you get, you start overcoming adversity of things like roster cuts, trades, business, money runs things. Injuries become a part of your life. But I feel like when you're a little kid, you're not even thinking about injuries, bro. You're just thinking about, I want to go out there and win that game. You're not thinking, I remember the first time I ever got hurt, you're like, what do you do best? You run fast, you do this, that, you catch the ball. Well, now you can't run fast because your hamstring's fucked up. Yeah. Now you can't do something because you're physically impaired to the point where it's going to affect how you play. And I brought this up too, where, I mean, Q, you've been in these situations. It physically sucks, yes, to be injured, but mentally it's tough because of two things. One, I want to get better and I just want to be out there. But two, as a professional, I understand there's always, in anything you do, there's somebody right on your ass.
Yes.
Chomping at your heels, trying to come and take your spot. You might be boys, but you got to strike while the iron's hot. And guess what? If the guy in front of you goes down, you get an opportunity now to make a play. If you make a play, you might lose your spot. You never get that time back. So it's really freaking hard to do. And to go through what you've gone through and understand, like, you coaching those kids up in the summer, ultimately, I don't think it is a waste of time. And I know you don't think it is either.
Not a waste of time.
No.
There's other ways that NBA players spend their summer.
I was just saying, and at the time, it wasn't like a typical summer.
There's other ways NBA
that's what I'm
players
saying.
spend their summers than doing that.
To me, though, it sounds like the start of a badass story for a great coaching career. Yeah. And I think that's what it's developed into. Yeah. And this UW thing, my next question was going to be, being such a 5'9" guy, why did you choose UW? But before, I just want to point out, not many people get that opportunity to, like you said, you usually got to go coach. Maybe you got to go be a great high school coach for 10 years, be a city college coach, go coach at some D2, and then maybe 22 years down the line, you get a position job. Like this opportunity came up and you took advantage of it for sure.
I know,
UW,
youngest, probably like the youngest assistant coach in the Pac-12 at the time, close to it. And, after finishing a 10-year NBA career.
That's what I'm saying.
That's tough, but why you man, being probably like a top 5 player ever there, and the success I had there, the memories and my family had there, the love we have for the University of Washington and the time I've been there. And I'm a comfort zone person, so I wouldn't take no other coaching job. And there's been inquiries for me to go coach other places or random NBA teams in cities I don't like and stuff like that. And I'd rather be somewhere close. I'd rather be somewhere I'm comfortable with. It's my alma mater. I got my degree from there. I know where everything's at. No one had to take me around my first day of work and say, oh, yeah, this is this. Like, I knew where every building was at. So, it was a comfort zone thing. And, to only be an hour and 15, 20-minute flight from Fresno was huge.
It's not bad.
So any day off, any time off, I get on that flight, come home, spend time with my family. One of my sons out here, and it means the world to be able to have 2 homes really close.
How they snatch you from San Joaquin Memorial so long ago?
I think another podcast got that story. My dad coached at Fresno State. He was a special assistant to athletic director in the TARC days, and so
good old days.
In the good old days, so every day I used to try to get kicked out of school or leave school early to go watch their practices, be around my dad. I'd be there from whenever till the end of study hall at 10 p.m. And you know what? I'm a bulldog at heart.
I know
still.
that.
Like, what I'm saying, like. Fresno State football is my favorite college football team. It's hard for me to say that, even though Washington's really good.
And we appreciate you.
Washington's top 10 this year, but Fresno State football was always my favorite. The Cars, Bernard Berry, all those dudes I got to grow up watching, going to games, and being the kid sneaking in and stuff. But I love Fresno State. I love everything about the school, and I wanted to go there. Coach Cleveland didn't think it was a priority to recruit me, and so
tough said.
There was a lot of things that happened like towards the end of my recruitment that I wanted to come back. I wanted to stay here because I think I had a girlfriend here. I think I was already homesick. I was like, I'm not trying to leave Fresno. Like, I ain't trying to leave my parents' home. Like,
none of that.
I got to go to this random city I never been to with no friends and stuff. I was trying to convince my friends to go with me to Washington. And Coach Cleveland, I walked in the meeting. Coach Cleveland said, starts off the meeting with my family, and I was going to surprise and tell him I commit. And I sat in the meeting. First 2 words he says, first little bit, he says, I've never seen you play basketball, but people out here say you're really good. And the media will get on us really bad, if we didn't say we recruited you. The Twins are already going to Stanford, but, I think that we have to say that we're recruiting you, and that's why this meeting is happening. And my dad looks at me, taps me on the leg, and is like, and I'm like, in my heart, I'm like crushed, because I know how everybody, my family's took that as like a slap in the face.
Totally.
And my dad looks at me and said, well, I guess this conversation's over with. And he was like, I guess that's over with. Well, there's these other guys on his AU team that you should recruit. La la la. And we got up out of there and said, and I got in the car going home. I'm in the backseat. I'm just bawling like, damn, I can't even come home. And then I tried to transfer home, I think the next couple of years, and they were like, we got this guy. Maybe you're not that good. And so, it didn't work out too well for that situation.
Well, it worked out, Q.
It worked out.
It worked out.
It worked out.
And like the last thing I want to ask about the UW thing, and you just heard me kind of get interviewed about the whole conference realignment thing.
Yeah.
Being a guy, and you can get as much into this as you'd like, but like from the basketball perspective, you're at Washington. You guys are now heading to the Big Ten.
Yes.
And football, you're going to have these long away trips. Basketball, I know you're used to also having long trips, but there might be some weekends where you might have to be gone a little longer. What do you think of the conference realignment? What do you think how it'll affect your guys as players and your season potentially? And again, say what you need.
They're gonna
be right.
Figure it out. They're
always
figure it out.
Course.
Like it's too early to assume like, oh, we're gonna play 2 games, Rutgers and whatever, and then come back for a day and go. Maybe it happens. I don't know, but I think it'll be great accommodations, and I think they'll figure it out logistically to where it's not that bad.
That's what I'm saying.
And if you want to be a pro,
better figure it out.
You better figure it out. And that's only 30 games. 82 games in the NBA season of I'm packing a bag, keeping the bag packed, leaving, don't know what city I'm in, wake up, play, land at 4 a.m. in a different country in Toronto, then you got to play, then you land in Cleveland, and then you got to play the next night. It's so much in that. If you want to be a professional in basketball, you got to get used to it.
Yep.
And, that's why – they pay you the big NIL.
Before we continue, Q, I gave a quick shout out to my last sponsor, Prize Picks, our newest sponsors, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the most I've had fun winning, up to 25 times my money for this football season alone. Last weekend, we just started off with a hot streak. We had Notre Dame quarterback. We had it paired up with, I believe it was like the Navy under on passing yards, and we hit there. We lost a different one. This week we have a few good ones. Check out the ones with the dogs. Check out the ones with UW. But Prize Picks is the premier place we like to go to win our daily fantasy placing entries and player projections. We have a few pick and plays this week, a few protected plays this week, and we are fired up for it. We will get those released ASAP. But Prize Picks, shout out to them. Like I said, we've been winning money left and right. You can turn $10 into $250 just a few taps. It's that simple. I can make my picks and submit my entries in less than 60 seconds. So shout out to Prize Picks. And also, if you want a free $100, go to prizepicks.com/juice. Use promo JUICE. First $100 is free to play. Not a bad deal. Q, the 559. We go out into all that, all this, that, and the other. What are your personal goals to affect the 559? You already have.
Man,
what can you do?
Man, I just want to keep being the best role model and touchable influence that there is. There's a lot of people that might claim 559. They might have it on them, might tattoo it on them, wherever it is, but they're not visible. They're not here. They're not touchable. And so, you see me out here. You call me, you text me.
You out here, Q.
You call me, you text me, I answer right away.
Mm-hmm.
You need me to do something, I'm here right away. Having that availability and being able to be touchable and being a positive role model and influence in the city means so much to me. And so, there's a lot of things that we have working and trying to build and trying to make the community a lot better place. Working with, different companies, like Troy Center, which just helps, impoverished kids and get on the right path. There's so many different ways, and then mixing athletics in that. And again, like, my goal is to continue to bring everyone together. Whether it's Jose Ramirez or Kenny Wiggins, all these NBA players or other athletes in different sports, who's merging us together and helping us make Fresno a better place. And I think that's my role, and if there's a job, especially basketball wise, that becomes available one day, hopefully, and if they ever need me, I would love to possibly entertain that situation.
Well, Q, I mean, that's I hope you do. I hope you do, and I think it's awesome that you have had your piece, because based off some of the stories you've told, obviously UW has a close place in your heart, and maybe the basketball program of the 559 college here that we don't have to name necessarily didn't get the results you wanted at that age when you wanted them, but you've buried that hatchet, and now, again, when an opportunity arises, strike with irons hot, like I've said. And it's all that's fugazi right now. That's not the case. I know you're going to go and you're going to kick ass and win a Pac-12 championship with UW this year. That's the role.
That we're gonna do really well this season, and growing as a coach over these last few years, growing as a recruiter over this last few years, fundraiser, all that. It's only helping me become the best coach I could possibly be, and I'm giving my all to the University of Washington until there's time to do something else. And Fresno is home. I have my home here. Not getting rid of it anytime soon.
Oh, I like your house, Q.
Most people in the city have probably been to my house and they've seen it once or twice, but it's my home, man. I ain't leaving anytime soon, and it'll always be home for me. So, I go work other cities. I share some time other cities, but when it's time to say home or call a place home, that's here. And so, I have a vision and I have dreams. I have goals. I have a vision board. I have all that, and there's somewhere here in Fresno that's at the top of that.
Juice Nation, Quincy Pondexter. Q, before I wrap it up, anything you want to say?
Man, I appreciate you having me. I'm proud of you and what you've done for the city, and what you continue to do. This is just the beginning. I love how much you're doing and how much your podcast has grown. I think the first time you came to my house, we did in the living room. I didn't even know. We didn't know each other like that. Yeah. Now we're a lot closer.
There's been some growth.
Yeah, definitely been some growth, man. But keep building this thing, man. The better we can make Fresno. And I heard you say it earlier. The more you get people out to events, the more you show love, the more we show that this city is somewhere that people will want to call home. That's what's going to attract so much more people to come and share that love. And so, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep bringing the juice, and it's all love for me.
Come on now. Quincy Pondexter, everybody, we appreciate you. 559, seriously, big shout out though. And Quincy, what you said couldn't be more true. This place has soil. Water it, nurture it, give it fertilizer, make it grow. This place is not just one of the special places in California, but in the United States, maybe in the world. And I truly believe it's one of those places where, I am very proud to call it home. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving. And I want to do what I can with my platform, ability to continue to grow and not forget where you came from, because guess what? Home is where the heart is. And when the things were gritty, and things are gritty still now, I'm still here in the 559 grinding, and I don't want to be anywhere else grinding, brother.
I'm right there with you, man.
Well, fire me up. Get your piss hot. Follow Q on the gram. Watch his journey. Be sure to buy your merch. Subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. We'll see you at the Dogs games. Got some big events coming up. Quincy Pondexter is going to be at a few of them. We'll see you next week.